Nigeria, by extension, Africa, battles a growing youthful population and with little or no meaningful engagement leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say. In today's increasingly pluralistic and diverse society, the intersection of religion and education remains a deeply sensitive and complex issue. Schools serve not only as institutions of academic learning, but also as spaces where values, identities, and worldviews are shaped. Balancing religious perspective with a circular curriculum represents both a challenge and an opportunity. The challenge lies in ensuring inclusivity without promoting indoctrination, while the opportunity lies in fostering mutual respect, critical thinking, and cultural literacy. Now, striking this balance is very essential, not for educational equity, but for the cultivation of tolerant, well-informed citizens capable of navigating a world rich in spiritual and ideological diversity. It's a beautiful Tuesday on your favorite primetime show, Ways. My name remains Osayiwa Mesali, and today we turn our attention to a very important topic, very sensitive but also important to have, religion and curriculum. We're asking, where do we find the balance? Now remember, Ways is all about you. You are the why in Ways, so be a part of the conversation. Add your voice to the discussion. You can also head onto our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. Hit the subscribe button, like, share, and invite your friends and family, frenemies, everyone to join and follow the live conversation. When we open the phone lines, we'd love to hear your thoughts. You can also leave us a message on the YouTube live link that you're watching right now. All right, so as always, let me allow you to please ponder on my quote for the day. It says, the aim of education is not to make every child the same, but to teach them to understand and respect difference, including religious difference. And this was from Dr. John Hall. So we'll delve into the conversation on religion and the curriculum. How do we find the balance much later? Let me run off quickly on a break. When I come back, I'll let you in on my news interests for the day. Please stay. All right, I'm going to start with the First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, on Tuesday said that the National Library Fund had raised 20.4 billion naira since it was launched, as of course, as at Thursday last, 18th of September 2025. Now, the First Lady told journalists at a State House conference in Abuja, she announced plans to raise funds for the completion of the country's long-delayed National Library. She urged well-wishers to donate to the fund instead of sending her gifts or prayers for newspaper advertisements to mark the day. The National Library headquarters project in Abuja has been under construction since 2006, when it was awarded for 8.59 billion naira and expected to be completed in less than 2 years. However, cost ballooned and progress slowed. So by 2023, the fiscal completion rate stood at 44%, with estimates ranging from 49.6 billion to more than 120 billion required to finish the 12-story complex. What a wow. So what do you guys think about the story? First of all, I said it when she announced that she didn't want all those normal things that they do during birthdays. She didn't want all of those. I announced that I think that was a laudable thing to do. But some people actually were very quick to ask me, Uwa, is that not supposed to be a national project? Is this supposed to be something that is personal? I said, well, I don't know, but I think it's for a good cause. We need to bring back the reading culture. We need to bring back literacy culture in Nigeria. It's very important. So, I mean, if this is how she wishes to celebrate her birthday, I think it's a good cause. But I'm just worried about the cost, though. 120 billion. It is well. Like the way prices of things are being mentioned in this country. Like, I really want to ask, what is the vetting measure for the kind of cost that we put on certain projects? Because, I mean, if we truly want to see any meaningful progress in Nigeria, over bloated projects needs to stop. That's all I can say, because we won't make progress. All right, so the leadership of the Senate has ordered the unsealing of the office of Senator Natasha Akpote-Onuwan, representing Kogi Central Senatorial District, months after her controversial suspension. Sources within the National Assembly revealed that the decision followed mounting pressure from within and outside the Senate to allow Natasha to resume her legislative duties after the expiration of her 6-month suspension in September. Now, despite Senate rules forbidding debate on matters considered subjudice, several senators have urged the leadership to suspend the rule to resolve the stalemate. It's okay. Or to resolve. So what were they thinking? A lot of people had carried their, I saw some skit makers and social activists, passionate Nigerians. They've carried their buckets, they've carried their beddings, they carried their bag, and they say, okay, well, if they don't open that door, we're going to sleep there. And I think this is what we need in Nigeria. We need people to be intentional about, demanding accountability and results from our leaders. Once we all start to do this and put a lot of pressure on our leaders, they'll just do things right. But I don't want this matter to just be like this. So please, I still want to know the content of some of the allegations that was leveled against the Senate president. Let's not just sleep on it, because it's not about Senator Natasha. It's about the future. It's about what is going to happen after now. What if Senator Natasha wasn't as strong as she is as a person? Imagine if it was someone that could not handle the pressure and just, I beg, you know what, let me just walk away and leave. It means that we'll continue to have a bit of oppression within certain systems that shouldn't be. She's a democratically elected representative of her constituents, right? So why was there even a suspension in the first place? There's just a lot to unpack. But what is most important is what even led to the suspension, what led to some of the things that happened, and what is the situation in terms of the allegations that were leveled against the Senate president. We need answers. It shouldn't stop. We should continue to hear what is going on. And I think I'll leave it there. So I'll move on to my final story. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, we call them ICANN, has launched an investigation into viral video alleging impersonation during its examination. The video showed a woman identified as Livette Felix admitting to invigilators that she was sitting for the exam on behalf of one Sarah Adi, while a man, Abraham Moses, claimed he was impersonating a candidate named Martins Emmanuel. Both Felix and Moses alleged they were contracted by one Mr. Joshua in Jalingo, Taraba State. And of course, the invigilators in the clip promised to escalate the matter to security agencies. And the video has since generated a lot of controversies, particularly over claims that one of the persons impersonated is a public office holder in Taraba. Olasukomi assured that disciplinary measures would be taken against anyone found culpable, and the findings would be made public. This is good. We are waiting for the findings to come out. But I just want to quickly say that on impersonation, I thought INEC would have, as I say INEC, ICANN would have gotten to that stage where a lot of things, are required for you to write exams like biometrics and all of those things, so that it just kind of ties up the system. They should go and take a cue from WAEC. Over the previous years, right, WAEC struggled so much with people coming to impersonate and write exams on other people's behalf. And over the years, they've kind of like cleaned that system where it is almost impossible now. I think it's even impossible for you to be able to write exam for somebody else. So you can go and meet. There's no harm in calling your fellow exam coordinators like WAEC. Please tell us how you're doing. What are the soft systems that you have put in place? How do we also take advantage of those systems? There are companies handling things like this that can give you a very clean, transparent process of writing exams, as opposed struggling with impersonation. That will not even become a subject once those things are put in place. Technology kind of helps a lot of things. So I think ICANN can go to WAEC for some tips or even solutions. All right, I'll go on a very short break. When I come back from that break, yes, let's discuss religion and, of course, how we can strike a balance, especially with the recent curriculum that was launched. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light from my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally...
From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we will analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
All right, thanks for staying tuned. Now, schools play a crucial role in shaping young minds, and inclusion or exclusion of religious content in the curriculum must be handled with sensitivity, fairness, and respect for what I call it pluralism, right? While education should promote critical thinking, inclusivity, and cultural awareness, it must also uphold the principles of the secularism in context, where states and religion are constitutionally separate. So, to join us to have the conversation on striking the balance with the curriculum, right? Join is Abdul Hamid Balarabe Musa. He's the Assistant Program Manager, CAP, that's the Community Action for Popular Participation. Yes, thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I want to quickly give a good short background. When I was growing up as a child, I was born and bred in Kaduna State. So I went to nursery, primary, secondary school in Kaduna State. And I remember so well that at the assembly ground, when people come, when we come to the assembly ground, you must say your morning prayers. So we'll say the Lord's Prayer. I would also say the Islamic prayer. Until date, I'm able to recite the Islamic prayer, right? The short version we used to have at the assembly ground, because one of the biggest things that was being pushed at the time where we were growing up was religious tolerance and, unity, right, in our diversity. So first of all, how well do you have you studied the curriculum, especially the part of the religion that has been going viral? Because I saw a lengthy report and I was reading through, I say, oh, is this really true? Is that the real picture of what is going on with the curriculum right now, especially around religion? And what exactly is it? Why are we having this conversation, Self?
First of all, I just want people to understand that many people were not even, or I mean, individuals and groups, they are not even asked to put their input in that curriculum. If actually they did so, you find out that the factual thing about, or that is all around the curriculum now, it has to be looked into cognizant with the regions that we have in this country. You know, in the north, the context of that curriculum may not be as good to the southern part of the country, especially when we are talking about the eastern part of the country, where we have less Muslim there, but we have much Christians and atheist there. So by and large, what I'm trying to say here is that the curriculum should not be centrally on Nigeria as a whole, but I think it's better for us to have it regionally, though we are not practicing that regional system of government here. But even at that, let's take note as an example. I'm from Plateau State. The kind of religious intolerance I have, or tolerance I have on the plateau, is different from the one that I may have either in Kano or Sokoto. So therefore, I think religious organizations, they should be on the table, not just somebody representing somebody somewhere, to talk about the core value of human living, human life, especially religion, is something very sensitive. And even at that, I can be a Muslim. Yes, I'm a Muslim, but what type of Muslim I am? I mean, the sect I come from. Am I a Sunni, Shia? You understand? So these are the things that people should understand. When we're talking about religion generally, I think people should know that in every religion we have different sects. By having different sects, we are building our followers in every religion to understand more the ideology of the sects we are following. That is the dogma. So in Islam, we call it the Aqidah. Most people, or most religious groups, they emphasize more about the dogma of their own religion rather than the general learning or teaching of the religion entirely. So now, where we can have a lacuna in those kind of a situation is, I cannot use the Sunni overshadowing the Shiite, or the Shiite, even the Sunni. We have the Darika, we have the Izala. Even in the realm of the Izala, we have the Izalas that are now saying that we are playing our, giving our allegiance, or playing our allegiance to the Sheikh Sani Hayat, for instance, or rather we can say, I am now taking my own allegiance, my loyalty to Sheikh Abdullah Balalau. Maybe I can be a Catholic as a Christian, and I can be an Eco as a Christian. So I think what is embedded in that curriculum, to me, is not bringing about unity. So also, some people will look at it as if those people around that build that curriculum, I am telling you, many people are not represented. I mean, many religious sects are not represented.
So I mean, I hear you, and I thank you for breaking down even the intricate nature of what is going on within the Islamic religion as well, different sects, right, where people are claiming allegiance to different people. Now, the challenge I'm having is because Nigeria's religious diversity often translates into a lot of political sensitivity, right? Because if we
Yes.
the way we know it, the north is predominantly Muslim, while the southern part, like you rightly alluded, is more Christian. And this divide has made religion, right, or religious education highly politicized. So given this background, right, shouldn't there be a standard? Because we truly cannot represent everybody, right? If we want to go
Yeah,
by,
of course.
because if you want to really represent everybody in religion, the traditional worshippers will be there. The ones that go to CNS,
Well,
cherubim and seraphim will be there. The ones that are Pentecostal, the one that are Mountain of Fire, the one that is whatever, the one that is Catholic. Then in the Islam, like all the sects you have mentioned too, all of those people, they must see a representation of them in that curriculum. So now,
of course,
because that might not be possible, how would the government have approached this curriculum? Because now, let me read something. Because one of the concerns that I saw, they said the issues with the curriculum is on page 17 and 46 of the religious and national value curriculum for primary 1 to 3. Now, these are primary school students, right? It says on page 17, under theme Islamic Studies and sub-theme Sarah and Tahib, primary 1 to 3 pupils in their formative years are taught the supremacy of Prophet Muhammad and the Quran over others. That Muhammad was the seal of all prophets sent to the world, and Quran and final guidance to Allah's Allah to mankind. Then they now went down to 46, page 46, right? It says in page 46 of the same book produced by our taxpayers' money, this was a write-up by someone who says who include Muslim and non-Muslim. It says that Prophet Isa, that is known to Christians as, of course, Jesus Christ, is not the Son of God, and that Jesus was not crucified. So this person is saying, what a blasphemy. The implications are the creation of a sense of supremacy of Islam over the faiths and the completely denigrating Christianity. So the reason I'm reading this part is that there has to be a balance. What we were taught when we were growing up, there is a Prophet Muhammad that we respect. There's also Isa that we respect, right? And everybody understood how it is interpreted in both religious, what's it called, books, be it the Quran or the Bible. We understood it, and it was interpreted in our curriculum exactly that way, right? So when the curriculum is being taught, we are able to see from the Muslim's perspective and respect it, same way we do the same to the Christian perspective and respect it. So why is this even happening?
Good. You know, religion is a value. You know, what we're talking about value here is that every book, either Bible or Quran, have an absolute statement. But, for instance, in Islam, every Muslim believes that it is, as stated in the Quran, that there is no any other religion except Islam. It is a verse in the Quran. And now when you come down to the Bible also, there is an absolute statement telling us that nobody can go to the Father unless you pass through who? Jesus Christ.
Through
like
Christ,
in the book of John. Christ. So now it's now telling us that if you are not a Muslim, you are not with the true religion as claimed by the Muslims. And if you are not a Christian also, as claimed, you cannot see the Father. So, but since we are looking for a kind of a balance here now, there are many passages both in the Quran and the Bible that to me, they serve as a common ground, whereby we can focus on those ones, because we are trying to inculcate certain values, norms, you understand, to these children, I mean the pupils in the school. So what do we do is, first of all, trying to tell them that it is good for us to have a religion. And if you are a Muslim, there are a special and critical tenets that should go with them. Like you rightly mentioned when you are talking, you say, like the primary 1 to 3 students, they should know about the Sirah. Sirah is just telling you about the history, of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then the Tawheed, that is the central theology of the religion, to believe in the oneness of God. Nobody can harm you, nobody can enrich you except God. And nothing will happen to you centrally except God wills that to happen to you, either good or bad. That's what we call the qadr. So that is all what they want them to know. But at that level, I can say yes, before they become adult, they should know the foundation of that religion. But one good thing that I want people to understand is this. Now the world generally is a secular place. When people are growing, they begin to think, am I actually doing the right thing? Or let me just copy from somebody who actually inspired me. That person might be from the same religion with you or from the other religion. And that's why sometimes we used to have converts. Somebody can leave his own religion to another religion. But that is too sensitive when we are going to handle it, especially in the north here. Because in Islam, it's a great blasphemy for somebody to leave his religion as Islam to go to another religion. So we used to have striking issues about that one. But by and large, if I am 40, if I am 25, if I am 50, I decided to do that. It means I'm not taught in the class to do that. You understand? Even the curriculum cannot talk to me about that one because at that time or at that age, I might be out of school. Or I've grown so far in that I can understand my left and right. But now the bone of contention here is that curriculum. Primary students.
I think it is the fact that they are in primary school because these are formative years. At that stage, their mind is malleable. Because a lot of Christians are accusing the government of attempting to water down Christianity, right? Or force Christian students, to learn Islamic content, which is not a problem because I think, if you ask me, I would say it any day, anytime. It is best that you are taught so that you can respect another person's choices. If somebody chooses, you understand, to say, this is the person I want to serve, they should be respected, But I understand some religions, like you rightly said, they have very weak tolerance for things like that, or zero tolerance for, those kind of things. But the bottom line is, at that formative years, right, the best the curriculum should have just done was put it as it is in the, you understand, in the both books, holy books, right? So if the Christians say that Christ is the Son of God and he's the way to heaven, let it be like that. That is how you should teach it in the curriculum. You shouldn't change it and make it, so I think that is where the problem is. That's what people are complaining about. That is where the problem lies.
Yeah, but I think, as I rightly said, conflict of identity, I am telling you, is very sensitive, especially when we are talking about religion. That's why I keep on saying that religion is a value. It's something that we hold it dear to our hearts. So now trying to throw in this thing in the mind and the brains of these children that are at the age of formation, I am telling you, we are going to make it a little bit a kind of a radical kind of an approach to that. Why? Today, you now tell me that Christ is God. You understand? And now you now say that Prophet Isa alayhi salam is just a mere messenger. The same child, the same people in the same school, they have two different beliefs. Do you get me? And how can they assimilate?
There will always be disunity and disagreements.
Yes, because they are left with no choice. You understand? And their brain cannot tell them that, no, Maybe this is what Muslims are looking at it. No, this is how Christians are looking at it. Look at the age. If it is something that you can now, okay, take it to the university. I think it's something is going to be manageable. Things that are going to be manageable. But at that age, to me, it's too hazardous to even put it there. I think it should be silenced if honestly it's going to do more harm. That's what I'm thinking.
So
But
are you
then, by and large,
suggesting that they probably leave out religious studies completely from the curriculum, or push it maybe to when the child is a bit mature enough to be able to handle and manage the information? Is that what you're suggesting?
as an individual, I would love to say that every religion, they know how to train their children. right from home.
Absolutely. We used to go to I attended some of those. It's like, what do they call the school now? Boko. I forget the name now. We go
Madrasa or Islamia. You
Islamia,
understand?
yes, we go
call
to
it
those schools.
Islamia or Madrasa. You understand? So, like, at that level, that formative age, let the parents and the clergies in that setting to take responsibility of what is going to happen there. You understand? But when they get to secondary school, maybe JS 1 to 3, they cannot begin to say, okay, what can we do now? Let's teach this children about tolerance, about religion. They can put it as a kind of civic education subject, whereby they say, okay, you should know about religion. So whatever religion do you want to read? Maybe let them give them a kind of overview of all of the religion that the government will want them to know. You know, in this country, I think the most pronounced religions that we have, I think, is the Christianity, Islam, and the ATR, African traditional religion. Even at that, a child who has been through training of the religion, the rudiment of the religion, right from his parent, going to the madrasa, the Sunday school, and all these things, they still have a kind of strong belief and hold to their unbelief. So taking them to the secondary school level, I think they can start saying that, okay, we should just learn about other religions in order to appreciate them. You understand? Now trying to bring a kind of injecting a kind of tolerance and the social cohesion in that setting. But as an individual, if we cannot have a common ground to these students from that level, at that level, I think it's better we go
We
low,
just expunge
or
it.
we go silent.
Abdul Hamid,
Yeah.
I think what you're
Yes.
trying, I get you. So it's better every parent is saddled with training your child, with the religious.
Yeah. Yes, yes. I think at that age, you understand.
But wait. Shouldn't the government just have, at least just consulted with Islam clerics and Christian what's it called, clerics? Shouldn't they have just consulted to say, are these good to go? At least, you see, the truth is that there is no Christian right now that you say that Christ is the Son of God, right? That they will argue with. Even if we have our differences in our doctrines, in our how we practice the religion, there are some things that are just standard and sacrosanct. So if you want to then teach it, it should be like that. So you can just say to the Muslims, this is what the Christians claim. They claim it is for educational purpose, right? The Christians claim that they have to go to heaven through one person, which is when they accept, the Son of God as their Lord and personal Savior. That is how a balanced report will be. So you are educating the child that this is what their beliefs are. But let what it is that you are reporting be how the Christians see it, not completely switching things. But you know what? Let's go on a break. When we come back from that break, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light for my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we'll analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
All right, thanks for staying tuned. Now, if you just tuned in, we're having a very sensitive but important conversation, and that's religion and the curriculum. And we're asking, where do we find or strike the balance? And I have an amazing guest, Abdulhamid. He's with me. Please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join this conversation. Send us an SMS, WhatsApp, leave us a message on our YouTube link. SMS and WhatsApp line is 081-803-84663. You can also call us 07025 007749 or 0701-424-2420. So, I mean, Abdulhamid, you just want to run. You know what, Wahala? I say, let the parents train their children. Because in fairness to what you have said, yes, in fairness to what you have said, every serious parent is either you're going to a church or you're taking your children to the mosque, and they're also having like extra classes in the religious houses, the various religious houses. So technically they will be trained there. But you see, because we have always talked about the importance of education, right? And history, because it's not only even religion that we have a problem with. History and religion. It's important that as much as, yes, we want to leave the responsibilities to those parents, to be able to train their children and teach them the religion, when they are being taught in school, at least the least you can do is just teach them how it is reported by the people that practice those religion. Because I feel like it is almost going to be, I know, I mean, I've lived in the north, right? There are some things that is considered blasphemy. There are some things you cannot even say, right? It is going to cause a lot of tension, religious tension, just by the certain statements that you make. Even when selecting this topic this evening, I had to be very careful because, again, I understand the sensitivity of how, my fellow Islamic brothers and sisters, how they take the religion very dear to their heart. So how do you now see this, and now not think that it's going to trigger some things? So I mean, as a way to move forward, right, what should we be demanding the government to do? Because this curriculum is out there, whether we choose it, whether we like it or not. How do we move forward from this?
Yeah, I'm not surprised that government are doing this, because this is not the first time. This is not the only avenue that government are doing things that are not beneficial to the citizens. Even though we are talking about religion now, and it's quite unfortunate to say that we cannot differentiate between the politicians now and the religious clergies now. And it is quite unfortunate. I'm saying this with a kind of a heavy heart, because the action and the inaction of some of these clergies, honestly, is really in romance with what actually the politicians are doing. But I am a person who always see that we must move forward. Moving forward, not just moving forward. I mean, moving into the right direction. So had it been that they did the homework very well, I think they cannot just produce this thing and make it become something official unless and until they make it so viral for people to comment, to correct, to amend certain things. But since government is always government, I believe that religion is something very sensitive. By the time then when they begin to see the damage, maybe not this government, maybe another government will come and now see that, okay, this thing is doing more harm than good to the fragile peace tolerance that we have in this country, especially the region I come from, the North. I agree with you 100%. There are little things that you can do in the North is a blasphemy. The Muslims, we believe that there is a red line that you can go and you cannot cross when it comes to the Islam, particularly about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Even though some people are approaching it in such a way that they are so root to that. Because even in Islam, there are certain Sharia that it needs fair hearing. And there are people who are stipulated to carry out whatever kind of Sharia penalty on whosoever blaspheme. We have the judges that they can interrogate, they can investigate, you understand? But most of the time, the hoodlums used to take over and kill a person or maim a person or destroy life and properties. I know, as a Muslim, this is not exactly how the teaching is taken. We have the Sharia law, yes, and we have judges, you understand, who are saddled with the responsibility of saying that, okay, you are guilty. Yeah, how do you say this? Maybe I can say something, but I didn't mean it. I can say something out of ignorance. You understand? There are statements that to us, when we say it, is normal. But when we say it to another person, it's a problem. Okay, now, from the North, when you say Aboki is just a friend, you understand? But when you go to down south, derogatory, you understand?
Yeah.
So now it is contextual.
Yes.
But by and large, the government, I think they are trying to see that as Nigerians to be more religious all the time, but less spiritual. Let me put it that way. We are always too religious. But when it comes to spirituality, believe me, we are very poor about that. But can we actually separate politics and religion?
It's impossible because these are
happens?
weapons that a lot of politicians use all the time to create division and to just get their way. But I mean, Abdul Hamid, there's something you said that I would like us to just quickly happen, because one of the biggest concern, let's even just say, okay, let us accept this curriculum that they have put together. One of the most important things that is supposed to happen is to ensure that both religions are taught in every single school. But unfortunately, you and I know that that is not the case, because hardly would you find Christian religious studies teachers in the North, same as you will not find the Islamic religious studies teachers in the South, right? So, I mean...
Yeah, yes.
Because if you really want to then teach it, at least mandate the schools to have qualified teachers that are guaranteed of their safety. Because honestly, I will not go to Zamfara, for instance, to say I want to go and teach CRS. For what? It means that I'm the target if anything happens. Do you get my point? So, literally,
Yeah.
can we just take religion out of this matter? Because I think it's just too sensitive, you know. Maybe because I have been through several Sharia crises in Kaduna, and I've seen how people were unalived in the most brutal ways. So, and it was just because of religious disagreement. So the thing is just rubbing up on me wrongly. But if at all you want to even say, okay, let us accept this curriculum, how are they planning to ensure that there is a representation, a balanced representation in the classrooms? Meaning that every single school must have both an IRS and a CRS teacher. How are they planning to do that? Do we have the resources for that?
It's not a matter of resources. I mean, what type of resources? Is it the human resources?
Yeah,
or
human.
Is it just the human resources? Okay. On that note, you rightly paved a way to this discussion by telling me that, okay, now it's okay for me as as you are now to go to Zamfara and start teaching Ariki? To who? You ask this question, really? And actually it's something that you should know. Where are you going? What are you going to do? To whom are you going to do that thing to? Is it something that is going to be something of priority there? You understand? Now, let us be sincere to ourselves. Nigeria, whether we like it or not, we know our composition. We know our composition. So I think to some extent, I don't want to shroud my sentiments toward what we are discussing here. I don't know whether because as a Muslim, I find it so when it's easy for me because I'm looking for a balance to impact so much in the community. I now decide to go to seminar.
Maybe that's why I'm not taking it to partner. What, by and large,
Oh, wow.
the age grade is my call. Why is it that we are not taking it right from the children? I mean, the people from the primary 1, 2, 3. You know, they are too fragile for this kind of thing. But I think whatever we now learn from our parents, things we learn in our community, in our society, especially when it has to do with value, the cultural part, you know, the way we have been taking it from our parents, from the parent of our parents, they are sending it down, they are inculcating it into our head. Then we can let the religion to go through that commutation, you know, as well as the culture and the tradition of the people. You know, the culture is another thing that people used to hold so dear to their heart. I think, why can't we use the same mode, the same method? We leave it to happen that, okay, now, why can't they tell us that, okay, for every Nigerian should do the valley, you understand, to signify that he is respecting the elders, or you can squat, you understand? Why are they not talking about that? Why is it they are talking about religion? The reason to me is a selling point to politicians.
Yeah.
You understand? Before the curriculum to be presented, do we have problem with that? Even if we have problem with that, it's not as clear and so obvious. Like now it becomes an issue because there is a charter, there is a kind of a document that is going to be used in order to show a kind of direction. But I am somebody who is so pessimistic in life. I believe there is always a way. So the way is for me as an individual, and I know people are listening to us. Maybe there are other millions of Nigerians who have the same idea. They have the same idea with in line with what I'm saying. But our voices were not heard, and we are not consulted. For the clergies, as you mentioned earlier, the government should bring them together. Okay, from where? When you say, okay, we should bring Khan, we should bring
There's a lot of
JNI,
confusion.
Jamaat Nasrul Islam. When we bring them, you are bringing only the Sultan and you are bringing only one person. Okay, now, the Sultan may happens to be not a Sunni. If he happens to be Sunni, he might be Darika, he might not be Izala. Okay, when we not go back to the Khan, maybe the chairman of Khan, national chairman, this time around may be from Pentecostal. The other time, you understand, maybe from the Catholic or Anglican. So please, what color? What exactly are we selling? You know, there is a way that we need to address this thing. If every religion, either Christians or Muslims, they have what we call ecumenism. Ecumenism in the sense that all denominations under one religion, they should come together and bring out what exactly should be done to use it as a document that they can, as a body, is now tendering it to the federal government. And the same thing should go to the JNI to have all the sects under Islamic religion to come with a factual things. I mean, things that they are so binding. You understand? Not about dogma, to present it as a charter to the government. So when they now bring them together to put them in romance, then okay, now, what are we going to do? if we present it this way, Christians are going to be what? Demeaned. Christians are going to be what? Misinterpreted. Christians are going to, or Islam is going to be seen as a thing of caricature. You understand? So at that note, they should say, okay, is this something that we actually want to do? Maybe why can't we just suspend some, you understand, at this level and bring the one that will bring unity? You understand? So we should always focus and look into the commonality. You understand? Not just where we have the differences. Okay, now for instance, when you are going through the Christian book, sacred book, when you are going to the first 5 books of the Old Testament, which is named the Pentateuch, you find out that as if you are.
Oh, did we lose Abdul Hamid?
Let's move together, because as a mosaic religion, you know, the charter of the Torah. So almost all what we have in the Old Testament, we have the replica with slight difference in the Quran. The distinction we used to have is the New Testament. Who is Christ? What is his position to Muslims? And what is his position to the Christian? Okay, why can't we just use it as a history book that we can teach the students? Just for you to know that there is somebody who got sent, there is somebody who happens to be God, his name is this, that is where he come from, and that is what he's supposed to do, just as a way of history. Not just to make it as part of the curriculum regarding the religion. I think it's even better for them to take it there. But the moment that the children, they are above the formative stage or age, you understand, where they can have a lot of materials to get informations. When they now get the informations and they now see that is it in conformity with what their parent has been teaching them regarding the religion in the Sunday school or in the Islamia, I think it's better. But to me, I love to say that I have religion. But if my religion, people will not understand me more, and it's going to bring chaos, I think I should do it in my own comfort zone.
Without having to put it in the faces of other people.
We have a lot of things that we can take it as a national issue. To me, not a religion.
Not religion. Thank you so much. I think, Abdul Hamid, you've really done justice to the conversation. And thank you so much.
I know this.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've run out of time. But thank you so much, Abdul Hamid. You did justice to the conversation. And I hear you loud and clear, right? It is important that we know when something is being politicized and used as a tool. There's supposed to be a lot of research that would have gone into this curriculum before even releasing the curriculum. Because now what it's just doing, it seems like it's breeding, you know, an unnecessary tension that shouldn't even be in the first place. But Abdul Hamid, you've been an amazing guest. Thank you for your time this evening. So, I mean, in Nigeria's diverse religious landscape, education serves as a powerful tool to either bridge divides or, of course, deepen them. Striking a balance between religion and curriculum is very essential to nurturing mutual respect, tolerance, national unity, and by ensuring that religious education respects constitutional freedom, maintains impartial and accommodates the needs of all faith, Nigeria can build a more inclusive and a peaceful society. Ultimately, a balanced curriculum that promotes understanding rather than division would empower students to appreciate their own beliefs more, while respecting those of the beliefs of others that might not be in agreement with their own beliefs. I mean, it's just for you to respect somebody else. I mean, I don't think it's that difficult. But hey, this is where we draw the curtain for the evening. Thank you so much again for watching. Please remember to share the links, like, share, invite families, friends to watch and follow the conversation. As always, if you missed the quote for the day, here it is. It says, I'm looking for my quote. It says, the aim of education is not to make every child the same, but to teach them to understand and respect difference, including religious difference. I think this is very apt. All right, again, Chioma is going to see you tomorrow. Please enjoy the rest of your evening.